quickest way to fall out financially is helping your family and thinking with your heart and not your mind. And I know that by experience, I'm not just saying that.
Literally everything is a poor financial decision. Everything that we do. Why would I save now? I'm just going to enjoy my life because this is all going to come crashing down at some point. So I might as well have my little Starbucks and go to Fire Festival or do whatever I want to do.
I'm at the boba shop, right? And right now I have exactly $8.91 to my name. If that drink is what's going to make me happy for the next day, I'm going to get that drink. I'm going to get that drink because money always comes back. Like, this is not going to be my last $8, you know?
Some of these financial decisions are aging worse than the high school bullies from the 99s and the 2000s. Not really, because they both aging bad. Because what is this?
Some financial lessons are taught the hard way. I just finished paying off my car that no longer works. I bought this car back in 2021 for $23,000 and it started giving me trouble 2 years ago and it officially stopped working a year ago. I took it to every mechanic shop you can think of. Every Honda, I took it to multiple Hondas. I contacted Honda corporate. I changed every part you can think of and nothing was able to fix the car. Our last resort is getting a new engine for it, but they run a little bit expensive. They run from $2,000 to $3,000. I think it's expensive because my boyfriend bought me a replacement car after this one broke down for $1,200 on Facebook Marketplace that has given me no issues. The only reason I don't want to give up on this car yet is because it was $23,000. So I do want to keep trying. The engines are kind of hard to find because everybody wants the engine for this car. So as soon as one is available, it sells really fast. The lesson here was that I will never ever buy a car in payments again. It is not worth it to me. I do believe in having nice cars, but they will just have to be bought cash.
What was really interesting here is she said she was able to go on Facebook Market and get a car perfectly fine that's giving her no issues. Now, she says that this is the worst financial decision people make, and I can understand why. Cars are one of the largest purchases that most people make straight out of high school. It's your first real opportunity to have something of your own more than likely, because let's face it, how many people can afford a house straight out of high school, right? But the problem here is typically people are stuck with high interest rates, long loans, and not making enough money for the upkeep of the vehicle. And a car is a commitment that you can't just throw away because you're tired of the payments. The bank still wants their money. By the time many people figure this out, it's a little too late. You're locked into the loan. Many people say, hey, I'll just trade it in, get another car. Well, guess what? You're just prolonging that loan and attaching it to another car. And many times when people try to do that, depending on when they got the car, they might be negative equity. So the lesson I get out of what she just said is, if you can, Facebook Marketplace ain't looking too bad, y'all. Also, there are auctions in many cities for cars where a lot of people say that they're able to get cars for thousands of dollars. I advise you all to look into it in your area, especially all y'all young folks out there. And another thing I want to point out with cars is that when something like this happens to a vehicle and you still have a car loan for it, many times you are still responsible for paying off the car loan, even if the car doesn't even work anymore. I've personally seen this happen to many people I know. Sometimes they even get into a car accident and they didn't have gap insurance, so they were paying on a car that they wrecked 5 years ago still and had a new car note. Just some things to think about, y'all. Another thing is consider the maintenance whenever you're considering if you can actually afford a car, not just the monthly payments, not just the gas. Speaking of what you can't afford, I'm glad that she said this piece right here. I think you should first have an emergency fund. I totally agree. Pay off high interest debt and have an investment plan before buying yourself a nice car. And she goes on to say, and no, it doesn't qualify for lemon law in my state. I already tried. Unfortunately, it's a sad circumstance that she had to go through. But I am glad to hear that she was able to get a car for very affordable prices on Facebook Marketplace, because a lot of y'all are like, Facebook Marketplace, you can't get nothing on there. Try it out, just saying.
The quickest way to fall out financially is helping your family and thinking with your heart and not your mind. And I know that by experience, I'm not just saying that. When I first started out and started to build my credit, I was doing great because I was just concerned with myself. But then I've started to try to bail people out, literally and figuratively putting their bail on my credit card. And yeah, everything I just got off track after that. So you have to let your family go to God about their problems. If they have financial issues, if they need to be bailed out of jail, just know that they're going to figure it out. Don't try to be the one to help them out with everything, because that is the quickest way that you will fall off financially. I know by experience. Please take my word. Don't use your credit card to help nobody out. Don't put nobody on don't sign no car for nobody. Don't do it. You have to be selfish, because at the end of the day, when you get all this credit card debt, ain't nobody going to be trying to help you but you, period.
Oh, this is one of the worst I've heard so far. Okay, so she was trying to help bail people out of jail, putting it on her credit card. And you know interest comes with that. Interest accrues. And bail ain't cheap. That costs thousands of dollars. And if you don't have that thousands of dollars, guess who's coming up? The bank, the credit card companies. Can you even put that on the credit card? I don't know. I'm not a jailbird. I don't do jail and don't know the process. But this is very interesting. Now, I need to know from y'all in the comments, when it comes to family, if they were in dire need of something, would you put that on a credit card? Now, a lot of y'all are gonna be like, hey, anything for family. They're my blood, they're my kin. And I can understand where y'all are coming from, trust me. However, this woman right here is explaining how nobody was there for her, helping her out, trying to figure out her finances after trying to help them out. So this is coming off a little one-sided. So do you help your family regardless and just take the L? It's a very interesting situation. And you know what? People are in the comments saying no co-signing either. My favorite word is no. Boundaries. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with saying no, and there's nothing wrong with having boundaries. If you're people pleasing at the expense of your own finances, at the expense of your own well-being, you may be doing a disservice to yourself, because there is a thing called self-care, self-love. And there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to put yourself in the line of fire to help everybody all the time, especially if you know, because some of y'all know your family members ain't gonna care if you in a predicament. They don't care if you in a pickle. And who is going to have your back like you have your back? Exactly. Another comment here says, if they don't care about their finances, they definitely don't care about yours. Another saying, and they won't pay you back, not even a thank you. This comment section got a lot of people angry. This is the one right here. It says, and don't let nobody move in your space. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that one. This conversation really had the people mad in the comments.
I've been going out to Starbucks to get my coffee every single day, and I realized that that's one of those things that people are like, oh, that's a very poor financial decision. So I considered trying to cut down on it. But then I realized that, like, right now, literally everything is a poor financial decision. Everything that we do is a poor financial decision. Putting 50% of your income towards rent is a poor financial decision. Taking out a student loan for hundreds of thousands of dollars where there's essentially no ROI whatsoever is a poor financial decision. Breaking your ankle, horrible financial decision. You want to get sick? That's a very fiscally irresponsible thing to do, kid. I'm sorry. Literally everything is a poor financial decision based on the definition that we have been told of a poor financial decision. So I'm just gonna enjoy my Starbucks, like whatever. And I think that's the way that like a lot of young people feel right now. Is it's like we've kind of lost the ability to build for the future. So people are just like, whatever. I'm just like, why would I save now? I'm just going to enjoy my life because this is all going to come crashing down at some point. So I might as well have my little Starbucks and go to Fire Festival or do whatever I want to.
Now, there's a lot of nuance to this conversation, but I will say this. If you have one person who makes a good amount of money, saves their money, invests their money, makes good financial decisions, has emergency fund, 401k, investments, etc., right? And on the other side, you have somebody who has loads of debt, maxed out credit cards, no investments, no retirement, no assets that generate them any income, no money for an emergency, horrible credit. Who do you think is going to struggle worse? And these two people could have good paying jobs, both of them. One of them might be able to afford to go get coffee every day because they haven't been making horrible financial decisions. Perhaps they delayed gratification. And on the other hand, you might have somebody that's been a little bit more reckless. It might not be the best idea for them to do that, but they might do it anyway. The point here I'm trying to make is, it depends. It's not inherently a bad thing to go get a coffee. It's a bad thing to go get a coffee every day when you don't have money for coffee. It's quite simple. Just like it would be a bad idea to go out to eat every day when you can't afford to go out to eat every day. If you're going in the negative, aka debt, doing things that you don't have to do, non-necessities, and constantly doing them over and over and over and over and over, just justifying it by saying, well, people are tired, people are in debt, everybody's tired, so we might as well just do what we want to do anyway. Like, you can, sure, but there might come consequences with that. And if you're okay with the consequences, then do you. Because I'll tell you this, as somebody who is almost 32, I've been able to see a lot of people grow up and unfortunately be a reflection of the bad decisions that they made. And I've also seen people grow up and be a reflection of the good decisions that they made. Financially, that is. Point is, the choice is yours. Yes, there will be some things out of your control. Sometimes life takes people by storm. Most definitely. Trust me, it's happened to me. But when it comes to your finances, the truth is, is, nobody's going to care if you end up in financial ruin, especially if it was because of choices that you made, because of fun that you wanted to have, because you wanted to go to all the concerts, you wanted to buy all the clothes, you wanted to keep up with the Joneses, you wanted to have the nicest car, you wanted to have the newest technology, to go on the nice trips, constantly going to Disney, all those things, getting coffee. Those are your choices, but they might come with consequences. And somebody here in the comment actually pointed it out. It says, it's got a name. It's called doom spending. Yeah, that's what a lot of y'all are doing. You're like, well, nothing matters anyway. Nothing even matters. Let me just blow everything. Let me run up the credit cards. I'm gonna file bankruptcy anyway.
I'm at the boba shop, right? And right now I have exactly $8.91 to my name. You know, average person would be like, Karen, you don't really need that boba. You know, save your money. You don't know when a rainy day could come, but I'm a firm believer in taking care of yourself, prioritizing me. If that drink is what's going to make me happy for the next day, I'm going to get that drink. Because money always comes back. Like, this is not going to be my last $8, you know? And I might get paid tomorrow. I might get paid the next day. You get like, it never gave, this is my very last dollar. It never gave that. I'm just going to spend the money. Boba's about $7, so I'm still going to have $1 and some change left. That's enough to put a little tank of gas to get me home. My gas tank is full, so I don't got to worry about that. I'm gonna be good.
And what's interesting is we were just talking about coffee, and she is ironically at the boba shop spending her final $8. And she said here on the screen, y'all, POV, you make the worst financial decisions. So it's like she knows. No J. Cole. She said, when it comes to a drink, I'ma have it. And I love me a good matcha, so I understand. But at the same time, when your bank account is so low, that is quite tempting. It really is, especially when you have the things that you're like, hey, I'm going to do it anyway, no matter how low the funds are. And for her, it's spending her last $8 on boba. But for some people, that's going $10,000 negative for a trip, already knowing they're on thin ice at work. Do you see what I mean? Results may vary. And somebody here said, is this a balance? Someone said, no, I feel. They had 10 cents available. This comment here says, because $8 can't pay this car note. Boba, it is. And another comment saying, no, because I'll spend my last on food. Sorry. And that's, you know, a lot of y'all will. I believe it. So many people are in debt over food. It's crazy. This really needs to be studied in America. And I want to ask, what amount of money in your bank account makes you feel like, oh my gosh, I need to like cut back. I need to stop. I need to figure something out. Is it $100? Is it $8? Is it no amount of dollars? Because the money's going to come back to you somehow, some way. Comment down below. This is an interesting one.
I am financially irresponsible. I am. It's just, I don't have a savings account. I'm 29 years old and I no longer have a savings account. I'm making the most minimum payments on my student loans. I graduated college back in 2018, still paying off those loans, the most minimum payments. I'm living back at home. I don't have my own car. I obviously don't have a home. Instead, you know what I do?
What?
I buy tickets on impulse to go to Italy, to go to Europe. I use Afterpay, I use Affirm, I use Klarna. I get my groceries on Instacart for the whole buy now, pay later feature. And I don't care. I really don't. Like, I'm being so for real right now because the way things are looking, living here, making a life, that American dream, I'm gonna have my own house, I'm gonna have my own family here, I'm gonna have so much money, I'm gonna be rich. That's little me she'd be deceased. She would be quaking, shaking in her boots if she saw the state of this right now, because that's so impossible. Like, BFFR. Maybe you're not as financially irresponsible as me, but I think we can all agree this isn't life. I'd rather live paycheck to paycheck, actually like living for my soul and going on these trips and creating memories and experiences and visiting this place that feels like home, that I know I want to make home, that is out of the US. I'd much rather be living paycheck to paycheck doing that than be living paycheck to paycheck trying to just get by, paying off bills, paying off debts, the highest amount I can pay just to pay it off a couple years sooner. Because let's be for real, it doesn't matter if I'm paying off low payments or high payments, it would still take me years to pay off what that student loan debt was. So I'll pay off the most minimum payments so that I can at least have a little extra pocket change to go abroad, to go solo travel, to create these memories for myself and actually try and have somewhat of a will to live, because this country is depression. I already struggle with my own, okay? Being here struggling with my own amplifies it So I don't care. I'll take me being financially responsible and me actually trying to somewhat live than me being financially responsible and wanting to croak every single day of my life. Like, I literally don't care anymore. I am 29 years old. I have no savings. I'm probably the most financially responsible person that a lot of you will probably come at me. I don't care anymore. I literally don't, because soon enough, like, I don't even care about living here. Soon enough, I'm going to be over yonder in a place that actually regulates my nervous system.
Now, this was interesting. Now, for a lot of people, this is how they feel. Like, I need to make these memories and do all these things, so who cares about the debt? And I'm going to go travel the world and I'm going to go experience these things in these places. And I can understand that. But my question is, how many trips is it until it's enough? What is the destination that will bring the fulfillment? And when you get to the destination, how do you live in whatever destination you got to? In most situations, even to live in another country, they want to know that you have money. They want to know that you're not going to get stuck there and end up homeless on the streets. Not saying that anybody can't do that, because they can. Like, a lot of people make money online, but how many trips does it take? And I hope that she's able to find the fulfillment that she's looking for. But one of the characteristics that she's describing about herself is being financially irresponsible, which I find very ironic, because if you go to another country and you try to live there long term, if you're fundamentally, to your core, not good with money or the resources that you have and being responsible, how would that work somewhere else in another country? Is the problem that you live in America, or is the problem that you are not financially responsible? It could be both, or it could be one or the other, or it could be none. But it says here on the screen, right above her, choosing to be financially irresponsible and live, because in America, it's impossible to be both financially responsible and do more than solely exist. And this very well may be her experience, but this is not a fact. There are many people living and being financially responsible in America and doing more than solely existing. Now, trust me, the way this inflation going and these grocery prices, I can understand why she's saying it's become impossible. But I also feel like with her saying this, it seems like this is the statement of somebody who's totally given up. And she has said that she doesn't care. And I really hate to see people get to that point where they actually don't care. That's a scary place to be, because you start doing things that dig you further into a hole. This comment here says, girl, I'm living paycheck to paycheck right now, and I don't have any debts or large bills, and still I can't afford to travel and too scared to do the afterpay thing for traveling, but you're influencing me. Oh my gosh. Paycheck to paycheck with no debts or large bills and still can't afford to travel. Sometimes you might just need to earn more money. Because here's the truth, y'all. You either are going to budget and save money in areas in your life that you can actually cut back with the income that you get from your job or however you make your money, or you're going to go make more money in order to be able to do the things you want to do. Now, here's the thing. On one side, you know how much money you make every month. Generally speaking, most people have an idea of how much money you have. Unless you get a raise or a new job, or you add in other sources of income, this should be no shock to anybody. Now, on the opposite side, you can do other things to try to make more money, to add to the money you already have, to go on the trips, to put aside money for vacations, emergency funds, stuff like that. You can even do that with the money that you know you make every month. And how do we do that? I'm glad that you asked. Budgeting. Now, if you budget your paycheck and you see, hey, after I do everything and meet all of my essential needs for the month, I only have $100 left over, that's all you have. So you have to then ask yourself, do I want to be able to save more faster? Would I like to be able to save more than just $100? If the answer to that is yes, then you're going to have to find a way to make more money. There's not really, this isn't very hard. And many people are living paycheck to paycheck, not because they don't make enough money, it's because they have no clue where their money is going. And I'm saying this to encourage you all to actually take a hard look at your bank statements. Look at the apps. Look at all the other apps on your phone. Look at the bank app that has all your transaction and see where are you really spending all your money at that you say you don't have. Are you going to Chick-fil-A a lot? Raising Cane's, the steakhouse, the hookah lounge? Are you spending a lot on self-care, nail salon, hair salon? Are you constantly spending money at Starbucks? Does Sephora have you in a chokehold? Are you online placing bets, doing that rambling? You know what rambling is, I ain't gonna say the word. Are you rambling online in real life? Do you keep buying shoes? Do you keep buying accessories for your car even though your car is souped up already? Do you keep splurging on your dog even though your dog is spoiled? Think about it. Where is your money really going? Take a look. And I definitely think that you should live your life. Life is about balance. Everything doesn't have to be serious all the time. However, when I say balance, that's what I mean. You can't just be irresponsible all the time. That's not balance. That's just being irresponsible all the time. You know, you have some moments where you're working, where you're striving for the things you want, trying to reach your goals, and then you have your moments of rest, your moments of celebrating, vacationing, etc., enjoying the fruits of your labor. Nothing wrong with that. But be responsible, y'all. I hate seeing y'all make these videos. It's really sad.
My biggest financial regret that I've ever had in life was purchasing a home back in 2021 for these 3 reasons. Number one, I had to put a 30% down payment on my home. My down payment was roughly around $330,000. I bought my 2-bedroom, 3-bath townhome for $910,000. And the reason why we had to put so much down at the time was just because of my income. I was only making around, I think, $100,000 to $110,000. That was the only way we could get the math work. Now, my monthly mortgage payment, if you factor in interest, taxes, HOA, etc., it's roughly around $4,200. If I was renting right now, I could probably rent a really nice 2-bedroom condo or apartment for $3,500. So that would save me $700 a month. However, had I just not bought a home, I could have taken that $300,000 and $10,000, $20,000 that I used as a down payment and just invested in the stock market. We all know the stock market bottomed in 2022, and you see where it is today, right? I could easily have an extra, at the very minimum, a couple $100,000 in my stock portfolio. Number two, in the market that I live in, renting is actually cheaper than buying a home. Again, as I previously stated, I probably am paying an extra, $700 to $1,000 more per month by owning a home rather than renting one. And then number three, owning a home is just really, really overrated. There's maintenance that you have to worry about. I've already had to replace an AC, and my home is like 3 to 4 years old. So it's actually really, really new. I'm sure at some point I'm gonna have to replace a dishwasher, a washer and dryer. Owning a home is not cheap. There are a lot of expenses that come with maintaining a home, and you have to do it yourself. If I lived in an apartment complex, I could call the landlord and then they would send somebody to help me fix the problem. Honestly, if I could do it again, I would just rent a nicer apartment or a condo, whatever, in a nicer community, and then just invested my money instead in the stock market. But again, everybody's different. Everybody has different ways to invest and build wealth. Real estate is not one avenue of building wealth that I really like.
It's amazing that he even had $300,000 to put down for his home in the first place. That's amazing. But what was really getting me is how expensive his home was. And he was bringing in a little bit over $100,000 a year, which is still really good. And funny enough, he says that he wishes he bought NVIDIA stock instead. Honestly, being that he had $300,000, I totally understand why he said he would have bought NVIDIA instead. NVIDIA is a stock, y'all, just so y'all know. And somebody here commented, you bought a home that was 10 times your annual income? Another comment here says, 2-bed, 3 baths for $910K in a townhouse at that. Oh my. And the creator responded with normal in California. Okay, it makes sense. California prices just I feel like they just write any number down on the paper and be like, that's how much. Yeah, that should make sense to everybody, right? No, we need to reconsider. He goes on to say now his home is worth $1.1 million. The real question is, does that matter if you're not selling the home? Does it matter if you're living with the regret of getting the home? And here's the thing, even even if the house appreciated past $1.1 million. In the event it needs to sell, for all of y'all that have really expensive houses, who can afford it? Who can afford it? Because he had to put down $310K for his specific circumstance, right? And his payments are still like $4,000. Interest rates are higher now than they were when he got his house. So in the event that he ever wanted to sell his house, who could he sell to? And these are things that I need people to think about whenever they're trying to romanticize being a homeowner. Homeownership is lovely, but with anything in life, things have their pros and cons. And sure, if you got millionaires looking at your house, like that might be nothing to them. Probably a lot of millionaires in California, but a lot of people right now don't got it to spend on a house. This comment here says, hindsight is 20/20. And I agree. We've all made some mistakes that we look back and said, dang, what was I thinking? And here's another one.
I'm so overly stressed out right now, and I'm really just trying to continue to motivate myself to work because I have no motivation to work right now. Just this week, I got extra hours, which made me become a full-time worker here, 32 hours compared to the 12 hours that I was getting. As soon as I accepted the new hours, y'all, I got a notification that I was going to get garnished out of my check. At first, I thought it was like a scam. I'm like, what? Like, all of this is by surprise. But I knew I had stuff going on, court cases where I maxed out credit cards, all of this back then. So I kind of do a little investigation, you know. I realized that it is Capital One, and they claiming $6,275. When I only used $4,000 on a credit card, they put interest on it to the point where it was $5,000, like over five. It was like $5,800 or so. It was like in the fives when they took it to court. The court case, they had court on my behalf without me knowing all this and that. And pretty much, I got a lawsuit filed against me for them to garnish $6,200 out of my pocket, and I guarantee y'all the debt wasn't even $4,200. I guarantee y'all the debt was not even $4,200. The interest made it become so much, and to the point where they trying to take $600 out of my check each month.
That's how it works. And this interest rate must be ridiculously high. And I'm gonna tell you guys, interest rates can be in the 23% range. Sometimes credit card companies even get up to like 30-something%, if I remember right. I don't know what her interest rate was, but you don't just pay back what you took on a credit card. And that's something that is very frustrating because a lot of people just simply aren't taught this, but they will sign on the dotted line for a credit card just to later be sued in court and be like, I only took $4,000. Why are they saying that I owe them $6,000? It's because of the interest. And unfortunately, it sounds like she didn't understand that. And the interest accrued at least $2,000 additional to what she took out. This is why it's important to pay off your credit card every month if you can, not leaving a balance on there. Also, there's a thing called credit utilization. You don't want to go over 30%. And that's according to the professionals. Let me show you. You know, who better to get the information from than Chase? Because they're an actual bank, right? And it says here, how much credit utilization is good. And let's quickly go over what is credit utilization ratio. It says it's the money you owe on your credit cards divided by your total credit card limit. And it goes on to say, a good number to aim for is 30% or lower, but the lower the better. The lower the better. Yes, this is how a lot of people end up increasing their credit scores because they aren't showing the bank, hey, if you loan me X amount of money, I'm going to max out my credit card. For example, if you give me $4,000, I'm only going to spend 30% of that $4,000 or less, and I'm going to pay you back every month on time. No interest. That is how you do it, y'all. But you can't get a credit card, not pay the credit card company back as if the credit card company gave you $4,000 because they like you. They don't like nobody that much. They only like you when you don't pay. They actually like stuff like this, but they want to make sure they're getting their money back. That's why they're trying to sue you. You know, they want their money because they're not your friends. This is not free money. When you swipe your credit card, you are agreeing to the terms and conditions that you already signed. That's how you got the credit card. And they're going to try to uphold that because it's a business.
Y'all, that is $150 per week out of my check that they finna be getting. Like, I don't even want to work. Why would I continue working, y'all? I should just quit the job, start a new job, put 10 dependents down, and they won't be able to get up with me. And they won't be able to take so much out of my check because I'm already single, you know, trying to maintain everything, and I'm just about to quit. Like, what are y'all suggestions? I need suggestions. That's the only reason why I'm making this video. Not making this video so y'all to get in my business.
making this video for suggestions. So give me suggestions. I know I look rough. I'm look like what I'm going through right now, y'all. I'm very stressed out. Like, I thought life was getting better, but it's actually like it's not. Like, I gotta pay $150 per week, $600 per month to some things that I did 5-6 years ago.
She said she wanted advice. And I don't give financial advice. I just yap. My advice is if any of y'all are in this deep, financial advisor is a great idea, as well as paying back your debt if you can. Cause she sounded like she's trying to run from it. And then I don't know what else she was talking about, cause she said, get some dependents and some, what? Cause it sounds like a scheme that Todd set up. And this is one of the best comments that I've seen so far under this one. It says, running from it isn't the solution. Face your past. Learn and grow from it because your future self will thank you later. Imagine being in your 40s and older, not having financial wisdom. And I actually think that this is a great point. And I agree 1000%. Though this happened to her, it seems like at least 5 years ago. Who cares? Because the bank don't. The bank don't care. And many of y'all out there would probably be like, that's not right. That's not fair. That was 5 years ago. They should let it go. If you put yourself into debt, in present day, you just prolong the accountability if you aren't paying that debt off. That's all you did. And month after month, when you don't pay that debt off, it's going to accrue interest. So yeah, whatever decisions anybody makes right now, if you're running up credit card debt and you're like, hey, I'll worry about it later when I get to it. Later will be today, one day. Your later will come. That's just how life goes. Later will come. So think about what you're doing today and how it can affect you tomorrow. We got to start making better decisions today in order to have a better future.